Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. I'm a Bachelor of Health Science Naturopathy and I'm a naturopath at Kayla the Nurturing Naturopath. Welcome to my podcast Awareness, and today I have Eleisha joining me from Friends for Good. Hi Eleisha, how are you today?
Hi, good, thanks. Lovely to be here, Kayla.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Could you please tell us what Friends for Good is?
Yeah, sure. So Friends for Good is a national not-for-profit organisation. So we operate across Australia and we focus on loneliness and social isolation. So our founders both worked in community services for many years, and they started to notice this common thread in the different programs and services that they were providing, that loneliness or like conversely social connection was something that really impacted people's well-being. And they decided to start a not-for-profit that focused specifically on that. And it was the first one in Australia actually to focus on loneliness and social isolation. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And my next question was going to be, what do you do? But you pretty much covered that, so thank you.
Yeah. So we provide services, and then we also do research, community education, and try and raise awareness about loneliness, and then also, I guess, help people who are feeling lonely.
That's good. That's amazing. And what is your vision?
Yeah, so the vision of Friends for Good is people free from loneliness. So, where we understand that I guess loneliness is a natural part of life and something that happens at different stages across your life. But our vision is to really be helping people in those moments of loneliness to be free from I guess, the pain of it. Yeah.
Nice. And what is your mission?
So our mission is to raise awareness about loneliness. So it's something that affects lots of people, but it's not really that well known and well understood. So raising awareness and then just providing services. So we really try to look at what are the gaps in what's already out there and where can we kind of help and work really collaboratively with other organizations as well.
Okay. And how can people get involved?
So there's a few different ways they can get involved. So I guess in terms of addressing loneliness, they can look at things to do in their own lives. So trying to provide more, like find more social connection themselves, connecting in with their communities and helping other people in their community that might be feeling lonely. In terms of getting involved with Friends for Good, we're often looking for volunteers to work on our services and different programs. So there's lots of opportunities there to get involved. And then, yeah, I guess donating to us. So we're a small organization. We don't have any government funding and we're trying to do a lot of big things with not a lot. So yeah, donations are always really welcome. And also if people are working in the sector and want to get involved to work with us collaboratively in terms of research or services, we're always like really open to hearing about that.
Hmm. And can you please tell us what is loneliness? I guess it depends on, the individual and what that sort of means for
Yeah.
them.
Absolutely, yeah. So loneliness is a subjective experience, so it's different for everybody, and it's when there's this mismatch between the social connections and social network that you want and what you have. So it's not the same as social isolation. Social isolation is when you're objectively by yourself, so you don't have people around you. Loneliness is the feeling, and it's really about the lack of quality, meaningful relationships. So we often talk about this thing where you can be in a crowded room but still feel lonely. You can be surrounded by people, but if you don't have a meaningful connection and you don't have that sense of belonging, then you can be experiencing loneliness. And the same can be true the other way around. You can be by yourself and not feel lonely at all. You might be doing a creative activity or something that you really love. Being alone doesn't mean that you feel lonely. Yeah, so that's what loneliness is. And I think there's probably a lot of lack of understanding about it. Sometimes people feel a bit down or feel like something's missing, but maybe don't necessarily recognize that what it is loneliness, and sort of know just to go out and seek social connection in their lives.
Definitely. And I guess there's lots of sort of causes, but what sort of are some of the causes of loneliness?
Yeah, well, loneliness is because it's that subjective experience. It's different for everybody, and it impacts people from all different walks of life. We know from the research that there's certain things that increase the risk for somebody to feel lonely. So, different risk factors can be things like living alone, having mental health challenges, being part of a marginalized group. Yeah, there's lots of different, I guess, factors where it affects people's ability to connect in with their community. So having a disability low socioeconomic status. We did a study a few years ago which looked at the relationship between loneliness and income and disposable income, and not having the funds to be able to necessarily go out and engage in activities that are paid can be also a challenge. And I think with the current situation we're living in and the cost of living, that's continues to be a challenge for people. If you're under financial pressure, then sometimes connecting in with your community or doing activities is not the priority, and that can be a risk factor. Also, going through different transitions in life. So one that we're looking at a little bit at the moment is loneliness in the perinatal period. So becoming a parent can be a time where people are at a higher risk of experiencing loneliness, where you're going through a big change in your life. Things are quite different. You might disconnect a little bit from your sense of identity that you had before. That can be true as well for like other transitions, like going from school to university, moving countries or states or towns, anytime where your social networks are, I guess, changed, and it's difficult to rebuild them. There's also sometimes a sense of loneliness when people move into retirement and into older age, and there's different kind of risk factors involved with that. But what we do know is that the causes are different for everybody, the solutions are different for everybody, and it does impact people from all different walks of life. So it's not kind of one group that are going to feel lonely. It could be anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a one size fits all approach, like not everyone is the
No,
same, so then all the solutions are different and individualized.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And obviously, people can go to Friends for Good to get support, but where are other sort of places that people can go?
Yeah, good question. So, I guess it depends. Everybody's situation is different, like we were just saying. So it depends kind of what's happening in their lives. But I think definitely looking at the local level is really good. So in your local area, local councils are really good with having information about different programs and supports. Libraries, neighborhood houses, community centers are often really well connected into the community. And even if they don't provide something that's suitable, they might know where else to go. There's a lot of really good community programs, things like men's sheds, local choirs, craft activities, those types of things that bring people together through a common interest. So we know that having proximity, being close to other people, and also sharing an interest can help to build those meaningful connections. So it's not just being in the same space as other people, but being in an environment where those meaningful connections and friendships can really grow and build is really important. So yeah, I think looking locally is really good. There's also a lot of great organizations that run different programs. So Friends for Good also chair a group called the Friendship Alliance, which is a group of not-for-profit and small social enterprises that are all looking at addressing loneliness and increasing social connection. So if people want to look at the Friendship Alliance website, there's a whole list of different organizations on there who all run different programs. And I think it's really great because, as we said, people experience loneliness at different times and for different reasons, and the solutions will not be the same for everybody. What one person sees as a really great fulfilling activity will be just really not enjoyable for somebody else. So I think it's also a matter of people maybe trying out different things. We also know that loneliness can be either chronic or transient. So chronic being that it might last for a long period in life, and is kind of ongoing and really challenging to get out of. And transient is more, it kind of comes and goes depending on the situation. And so for people who are feeling really chronically lonely and it's something that's been going on for a lot of years, there might be some underlying challenges that they need to sort of work through. So things like social anxiety, or just, different kind of beliefs about themselves or others that might be making it more challenging to connect with others. And so in that situation, the research has shown that doing different psychological support, so speaking to a psychologist or a counselor, can also be helpful to kind of work through those feelings and find what will work best for them. So Friends for Good also has a counselling and wellbeing service that people can connect in with. So that's a paid service, and it's a social enterprise. So all of the profits from that go to support our free services. And that's a really great way to be talking to somebody who's qualified and got a lot of expertise to kind of help people move through that and find their own their own space in the world, I guess. But yeah, there's some wonderful organizations working in the space and really great programs. So I would encourage anyone who might be experiencing loneliness to kind of explore a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And like you're saying, if people feel like they need a psychologist or something, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's really important that
Absolutely
they're
not.
getting the help and support, and then, like you said, finding what, makes them feel good. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. There's definitely, and we know that there's also like a really big stigma around loneliness, which is interesting because from our research, we found that 9 out of 10 people feel loneliness at some point across their lives. So it's really like a majority of people experience loneliness, but it's still really stigmatized. It's something that people often don't want to talk about. They associate it with some sort of form of weakness or something to be ashamed of. Whereas it's really not. It's something that's a really, I guess, normal experience. It's something that happens to most people throughout their lifespan. So there should, I guess it's something not to be ashamed of and not to feel bad. If you need to kind of get that support, it is out there and people do understand.
Yeah, exactly right. I agree. And how many Australian adults are experiencing high levels of loneliness?
Yeah, good question. So we did a study a couple of years ago. We found 1.7 million were often or always feeling lonely. So a lot of people. There's a lot of different studies and different estimates. So it kind of depends how people measure loneliness. So sometimes we use like a specific questionnaire that asks about loneliness. There's other studies that look at how much time somebody's spending with others or kind of measure loneliness in a different way and then have come up with different estimates. So we don't have like one kind of hard figure, but all of the studies have pretty much shown that it is something that's quite prevalent and that's impacting lots of people. And yeah, our study showed 1.7 million Australian adults. So quite a lot. And there's also research around loneliness for children as well, which we haven't explored ourselves, but it is something to consider as well that, yeah, it does impact people across ages.
And could you please tell us what the friend line is and if you need volunteers for that?
Yeah, sure. So Friendline is our phone service. So we provide like a friendly chat and conversation to anybody who wants to have a talk. So we found that it's a really simple solution. It's just over the phone. We have a group of amazing volunteers who are really passionate and dedicated, and we don't provide any psychological support or counseling with that service. It's just a chat as you would talk to like a friend or family member. So we've got people that we call regularly. The people who use this service are from all different walks of life and have all different situations. For some people, it's the main kind of social contact that they have. For others, it just like complements other things that are happening in their lives. In terms of volunteers, yes, we do. We're recruiting at the moment for more volunteers. The service is really, really, really busy. So we've got, I think, about over 300 people now on the wait list to get calls. So we have much more demand than we can provide services for. And the main reason for that is just lack of resources. So it costs us money to have people there to support our volunteers and to run the service. And so we're just doing the best we can with what we've got at the moment. But yeah, we are looking for more volunteers. We usually do recruitment throughout the year and it's kind of ongoing. So if people are interested in volunteering, they can definitely get in touch with us and we can take it from there. And the volunteers don't need to have any specific experience or anything like that. We just look for people who are really friendly, non-judgmental, and who are great at just having a conversation, like just having a chat. That's what we look for. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's really lovely. And
Yeah.
obviously, like you were saying, you need donations so people can
Yes.
donate to you.
Definitely. We really need donations. Yeah, we don't have any government funding at the moment. So we have a really small team. We have a lot of volunteers who give their time to us, but we would love to be able to expand our services. So we've got a small grant to start Friendline in other languages. So we're starting Arabic line in a little bit later this year, which is really exciting. We've looked at the fact that I guess people who English is not their first language are potentially even more isolated from services and support. So we're really excited to start Arabic Line. We've got lots of other programs that we'd like to expand. So for example, one of them is called Playful Bridges, which is all about connecting people across generations. So it's intergenerational,
Nice.
like a play-based activity. So If you've seen like the old parents home for 4-year-olds, that kind of thing where you bring people, older people and kids together to have like a lot of fun and connect with one another. That's a program that we're sort of trialing at the moment, but we'd really love to expand, but we don't have the funds to. And also some programs where we support new parents as well through that stage of life. So yeah, we've got lots that we want to do, but limited resources. So we welcome any donations, large or small, would be amazing. And yeah, happy as well to talk about things like corporate partnerships or collaborations with other organizations.
Amazing. Yeah. Hopefully people listening can, give as much as they can because every little bit helps. And you sound
Yes.
like you're doing, trying to help, a lot of people, and which is really important because we don't want anyone to feel lonely or isolated or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Was there anything you wanted to recap or talk about that we haven't spoken about?
I don't think so. I think just if anyone out there is listening and is they themselves feeling lonely, I just encourage them to get support and to check in. And there's lots out there, and just to know that it's, it doesn't impact so many people, and not to sort of feel bad about it. And I would encourage listeners as well to think about having conversations about loneliness, talking about it, and that's the best way that we're going to reduce the stigma of loneliness, I think, is to really be open ourselves to talk about and have these conversations. So I think that's all.
Yeah. So for further information, should people go to the Friends for Good website or Facebook page?
Yeah, yes, definitely, to our website, www.friendsforgood.org.au. It's got our email address on there, but they can also contact admin@friendsforgood.org.au. I'm on LinkedIn. If people want to reach out to me directly, I'm happy to chat as well. And yeah, just really happy to start the conversation with anyone that's interested to find out more about the work we do.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, making us more aware about Friends for Good. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kayla. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you, you too. Thank you for everyone for listening. Take care. Have a great day and bye-bye.